Corey and Kyle, here's your video analysis. I'm sorry it took me so long to get it up. It's been a crazy week. I usually do this the night we're done with the lesson so you can have it the whole week. I'm going to try my best next week to get it up for you a lot sooner. But what I'll do here is I'll just go through a couple things and we can, well, it'll help us to target some weak spots in his delivery that are hurting, that could potentially hurt his arm. And what I see that is already taking away a lot of his velocity and control that we could fix up and perhaps really succeed and get better real quick here. But I like the way he gets his body moving. See, as he breaks his hands and his leg comes down, I can see that he's shifting. So he's activating his back leg real good at the very beginning of his delivery, which is great. He has a nice flex in the arm. So the throwing arm here is bending, which is what we want. We want to see a flex in that arm. If we see the arm reach back, then it kind of gets stuck behind the body and it kind of drags along. It gets hurt in that position. So he's doing well with the arm. As I said in the lessons, the arm, for young kids tends to come in towards the head, and it kind of pushes itself. It gets into a position where the arm has a difficult time rotating back because it's so close to the head, and it ends up pushing, or more of like a catapult effect here, and it's hard on the elbow. So take a look here how far out the elbow is in front of his face. That puts a lot of torque on the elbow. He hasn't even started what's called internal rotation yet, where the hand will now start coming forward to release the ball. When that happens late, like it is here, it's going to put a lot of torque on that elbow, and it's going to bother him when he throws. And in order to avoid doing that, the best thing for him to do is to power, we need to power out of the legs a little bit more, but we also need to work on getting the arm up a little bit later than it is. I mean, you see how high the arm is? His arm is already at shoulder height, the elbow is, and he hasn't even really gotten maybe 3/4 of the way down the mound. And now he's going to open up. So his arm has a lot of time to get up. And at his age, we don't really want to mess around with the arm action and the arm path. What we want to do more is focus on the lower body and just getting the lower body to move before he starts to break the hands. Okay, so if we draw a line up from his back foot, actually I can slide that over more, maybe towards the back rubber. What we want to see here is just a little bit of forward momentum as his hands start to break. But you see how his head is still on that line? And now he's broken his hand, so now his arm is going to get up to throwing height just a little too soon. And that's going to cause the arm to come in because it has nowhere else to go unless he's good enough at holding it back, which he's not. So we'll work a little bit on how to get the body to move out faster, how to get this leg here to be a little bit more linear instead of vertical. So if I drew a line from his ankle to his knee, let's get that line out of there. The ankle to the knee is an indication of how linear he gets before he actually powers down the mound into front foot plant. So here's where his leg drive would be. So as he's starting his leg drive, where is his knee in relation to his front hip? See how high it is? His knee is up to his, if I drew that line, the knee is closely in line with the shoulder up here. And we want to see that knee in line with the hip as he's driving down the mound to foot plant. Okay, here's another component that we're going to work on. When he rotates, take a look at his front leg. This is really, really important. First of all, you see how far off the midline his front foot lands? We want to get that foot to land here on the midline, not out here. And why we want to do that is that when the leg comes out, everything tends to open too soon, and he causes himself to land on the inside part of the foot, where it's really difficult to brace up his knee. Bracing up the knee is when the knee actually extends back towards the body, and it's kind of stops moving forward, and it braces back up towards the body. So if I drew a line here, he lands on a very, very flexed knee, which is good, but let's see how far forward that knee drifts as he's throwing the ball. You see how his front knee continues to go past that line? Let's get this arrow out of the way. You can see it better. See how far past that front line? That means he's not using any front leg power. He has no front leg power to help thrust his upper body over the front leg, which will lay the arm back better, and his arm won't get up out in front of his face the way it is. He'll throw with better arm health that way. It's important that the hip here braces up as the front leg braces up, but the front hip never really braces, so everything just kind of sinks and leans forward, so it just kind of unravels. Everything just kind of unravels for him. There's no forces being applied to the front part of the body to push up into the upper body, so it will thrust itself forward. So his upper body has really, see the reaction of the upper body right here is just to drift forward. It just drifts forward. But when he powers through the front leg and he lands here and he straightens out the leg more, you're going to see the reaction of the upper body is to thrust forward because of the forces being pushed up, and the arm will lay back. Okay, so some of the things that we'll work on here will be front leg power, front leg strength, some more back leg power, and how to really start to move with a little bit more momentum in the beginning. He does have some momentum, which is pretty good, but we need to get the body to get out more a little sooner so that that arm doesn't get up too early. All right. Good job, though. We have some important work to do, but the good thing is you're only 9, and you're going to be, I mean, you've got some good athletic ability, so I think you're really going to be successful at this, okay? All right, great job. I'll see you in a couple of days.